Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Paul Ferrer. I am the president of the International Society of Filipinos in Finance and Accounting, or we call ourselves ISFA. With us today is the chairwoman of the first ever Filipino Restaurant Week here in Chicago. So, Paula, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Right. So, I figured what we do today is kind of recap how it is to bring a big event like this in Chicago. We copied New York and San Francisco, and we brought it here, and we did a little bit of a twist to it, and that we had a block party towards the end of the restaurant week. So why don't you give us a little bit of feedback on the experience you had?
I think it's really a great first year for the Filipino Restaurant Week here in Chicago. We started with, an idea day one at our meeting, at our ISFA meeting, and it just sprouted into a whole new legacy project that we want to continue in the years to come. So
Perfect.
yeah, it was great attendance from everyone and great feedback from the restaurants, from the people, and everyone who participated in this event.
Right, and we're actually bringing a restaurant owner who participated as well. They specialize in Filipino street food, and let me show you a little bit of preview of what we'll be discussing in a little bit here. So, definitely a pretty good experience.
Yes.
Have you had time to kind of like see what happened and?
Well, I was involved, as you know, and from the beginning to the end, so I was able to touch base with everyone who participated and got involved in this event. So I think it's a good learning process from day one till the end. So yeah.
So if I'm a new organization or I'm a small organization and I have not done anything big like this, and all of a sudden I sprouted out of nowhere, what are some of the tips or any reflection at all on some of the challenges early on that you experienced?
That's a good question, because I think that's me, because I was not really involved years ago. So I came here in the US like 6 years ago, and this is my first year where I got really involved and became an officer at ISFA, and then got this opportunity to head the Filipino Restaurant Week. So I think one of the challenges is making sure that you have a good support group. Having ISFA and all the partner organizations helped us in making this event possible and making it a successful one.
From the idea phase until the whole process started, did the vision change at all? Like, how did the goals, did it move? Because as you're seeing these challenges.
I think in any event, it's important that you have a vision and your mission. You have to stay focused on what your vision is. And for this one, it's really to highlight Filipino food movement here in Chicago. It's we have this very rich food culture in Chicago, not only in Chicago and all over the world, but it's important that we have this movement that introduces it to Filipinos, non-Filipinos, and everyone who loves food in general.
Perfect.
Yeah.
With regards to the challenges that you experienced, looking back, what were some of the biggest ones?
I guess I won't call them challenges, but it's more of, it's a challenge, but it's really making sure that everyone is focused on their vision.
Right.
And everyone is involved on the steps to
see it through.
Yeah.
And one thing I would tell you is, she's talking about challenges, so I'm obviously the president of ISFA, and there was a moment where we wanted to have this one restaurant participate, and we got a no, and the same day we were hoping that a celebrity would come in and actually help us with the block party, and they said no. And I felt a little bit down, and you don't know this, but I felt a little bit down that day, and actually I remember thinking, is this really going to happen? But guess what? The very next day, you actually brought in three restaurants. Yeah. And our guest later on, Chris Yamat, actually is one of them that said yes.
Yeah.
One in particular said, you know what, if this is about helping the community, we're game.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing. So if you're starting a big event here in Chicago or anywhere, and you really want to do something big and make a difference in people's lives, because I think what we're able to accomplish is not just bring the Filipino food movement to the mainstream.
Yeah.
But now we also said, like you said, the legacy. That can we inspire our organization to
Yes.
partner with
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
Can we get the non-Filipinos to try some of the food that we're very proud of? So that in itself is actually, I knew that was that moment where I felt challenged, but like you said, you had other people in the organization
Yep.
to pick you up. You know, Michael
Yeah.
Jordan said that here in Chicago. He will never let them fail, and so
Yes.
he won 6 championships.
Yeah.
Okay, so then a little bit of fun moments then. So leading up to the block party. So the event started October 6th.
Yeah.
The restaurant week was supposed to end October 21st, and we extended it 1 week.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah, we were actually here promoting the extension, if our viewers remember. It was because we got a lot of feedback. Why don't you extend it? You know, it's like a few more days till our block party, so people can participate more, dine in more in the restaurant. So I think it was just a good decision to extend it. But
Yeah, and it's all
few more
part
days,
of the Filipino-American History Month celebration. So I'm bringing up the partner organizations on the screen, right? PACF, Philippine American Cultural Foundation, is an important part of the Chicago movement of promoting the Philippine culture, and FANS, the Filipino-American Historical Society, of course. So this is on the heels of an entire month-long celebration, and I know on our feedback session, people were saying, can you do it for 1 whole month? How do you feel about that?
I was so quick to pull the trigger and said, we will consider it, but you know, we're open to different ideas, you know, changing the rules and regulations. So we have one year to discuss
Okay.
everything till FRW 2020. Yeah.
Right, so recap. Some of the highlights. We have a video that we'll play. We will play in a few.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, what are some of the highlights that sticks in your mind?
I think just getting all the support from the restaurants and from the Filipino community and even mainstream, like non-Filipino communities, you know, hearing their good feedback and even bad feedback, you know, it's all good to be considered and to be improved in the next FRW.
Yeah. And my highlight, by the way, I know it's the end, but the block party.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people dancing.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, the big prize,
Yeah.
we raise enough funds from sponsors
Yep.
where we literally actually raffled off 2 round-trip tickets to the Philippines.
Yes. Yeah. And just to add to that, despite the cold weather, we were outside
Yeah.
the block. Still, a lot of people. It was well attended, and they were there to party and to get their prizes.
So let me ask you a question. On Sunday, that Sunday, right? You're
Yeah.
anticipating that you're going to be there to party all day long
Yeah.
and kind of get this raffle going and celebrate the culture.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
Different mixed emotions, really, because, you know, it has come to an end. It was a successful event. It was well attended. But, you know, just thinking back day one, where it was just an idea and now it has come into fruition. So,
Right.
yeah, it's all mixed emotions for me.
One of the feedback in our feedback session that you mentioned was you've actually created some new friends with the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
How many restaurants participated?
So there were 22
22.
participating restaurants.
And how many
Yeah.
restaurants did we say we found in Chicago that serves
Over
Filipino food?
60.
So
Yeah.
22 participated.
Yep.
There are 60 of them.
Yeah.
So hopefully our goal and our benchmark is a lot higher
Yeah.
next year.
Yep. Yes, for sure.
Any other recap or summary?
Yeah, I think highlight too is, you know, visiting all these restaurants because I told you I wasn't really involved in the Filipino community since I came here just this year. So, you know, visiting all them and getting to know them, you know, it's more on getting to know where they're from in the Philippines and
Right.
you know how they were raised and you know you get to know their personal background too more than their business. So
You said a little bit. We're learning about them where they lived in the Philippines. You said
Yeah.
you've only been here in 6 years.
Yes.
Where were you from in the Philippines?
well, I was born and raised in Cavite, but I'm partly Kapampangan. My dad's from Apalit, Pampanga, and then my mom's from Cavite.
Where's that in relation to Manila? If people were
Well,
to look on the
Pampanga
map.
is north of Metro Manila, and then
Okay.
Cavite is south.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So, a little story, when I was little, I lived in San Dionisio, which is right next to the Manila International Airport, Ninoy Aquino
Okay,
International
yeah.
Airport. But for some reason, my orientation is completely wrong, because I thought that I was north of Manila.
Okay.
And it turned out that I'm actually southeast
yeah.
of Manila. So,
Yeah, Parañaque is-
yeah, when I looked at the map, I was
Yeah.
completely wrong. But celebration of food, I know that kind of brings people together.
Yeah.
So let's look at the recap, and then I will go ahead and invite Chris Yamat to talk about the street food. But before I let you go, stay here after the video. I'm going to show you a few slides. So go ahead and play the video.
It's like a pleasure.
All right, how was that?
Wow, that was good.
Kind of,
Yeah.
if you heard us laughing in the background, some of us just saw this for the first time.
Yes.
So, food, bringing family together.
Yep.
I talked about in the past how every Sunday I would bring my grandparents to our house, and we would actually share a meal and talk about life in general. I know it's a pretty big week for you.
Yes.
Because your family's coming.
Yes.
So let me show you your mom and dad. They're your mom and dad, right?
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah.
they're
it was
coming
at
here.
the Lincoln Park Zoo
Several years
Yes.
ago?
a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And here you are sharing
The
a
best
meal.
picture. Yes. Yeah.
So-
that was in Tagaytay.
Oh, so
I
this
don't
is
want to
in the
mention the
Philippines.
restaurant, but yeah, it's a good place, like a breakfast brunch place in Tagaytay.
Have they seen the work that you've done during the restaurant?
Yes, I've been updating them once in a while and sending them all the links to videos like this.
And they're proud
Yes,
proud,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
right?
yeah. They're very supportive. They're already thinking of ideas for next year. So
So I want to thank you for leading
Thank
this.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the president, but seriously, she's the one that put the whole plan together, and so I wanted to
and I
acknowledge
couldn't
that.
have done it without you and all of the officers
Yeah.
and our partner organizations.
And speaking of the officers, actually, we were all together, almost all together last Saturday for a gala here in the Chicago, and here they are. They're the one who brought you the first ever Filipino restaurant week here in Chicago, and I couldn't be more proud of the officers because it took a team to build, to create this restaurant week, and it's going to take a team to even grow it even bigger.
Can we invite them all here next time?
Absolutely, absolutely. So thanks again, Paula.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for your
thank
time.
you.
And what I'll do then is go ahead and bring Chris Yamat here, and he'll talk about street food. And speaking of street food, I want to highlight the street food that we have here. Here's the passport that people use to visit the different restaurants, and I wanted to kind of show you that and focus on that. So this was actually a creation of one of the non-officers of ISFA, but we kept it, and we're most likely going to use something similar next year. So I want to welcome Chris Yamat. He's a restaurant owner here in the Chicagoland area, and so what we will talk about is street food.
Yes, JP, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, welcome. So let me ask you a question. So I just went to a conference this past weekend, and the majority of the restaurant owners said they didn't really start out owning a restaurant or pursuing a restaurant or opening up a restaurant. It was more of a hobby. So I'm curious, what's your story?
Well, I'm not in the food business, starting, my career here in the country. I'm actually in the healthcare industry. I'm a physical therapist
Okay.
by profession. But on the side, I always like to cook. I like to eat out.
Okay.
Actually, my wife and I, when we first met, we always like to eat out, try different kinds of food, whether it's Filipino or other kinds of food, especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, growing up also, I grew up in a family who liked to cook.
Did you grow up in the Philippines?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
where are you from in the Philippines?
I grew up in Mindanao. It's
Okay. Southern part.
South
Right.
Cotabato,
Okay.
Coronadal City.
And then you moved to the U.S.
I
or?
moved to the U.S. Approximately 18, 19 years ago.
Okay, so you've been here a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you love to eat food. And you, like on off camera, you were talking about how when this restaurant that you purchased became available to you, you wanted to actually bring it and grow it bigger.
Yes.
And kind of bring Filipino street food to the United States, here in Chicago specifically.
Absolutely. Our main goal really is to have like authentic Filipino street food,
Right.
Especially in Chicago. Like I said, I've been here quite a while back, but I haven't really had like an authentic
Yeah.
Filipino street food.
Let's talk about a
Right.
street food. What is a street food exactly? If I'm a non-Filipino,
Right.
and I say I heard street food, what is it?
Basically, street food is everything you see back in the Philippines on the street. They sell food. Basically, you want like comfort food.
Oh, okay.
Every street in the Philippines have vendors that
Okay.
sell Filipino foods that are really very good, authentic, and taste like, every food in the Philippines actually,
Yeah.
yep.
So I'm picturing them like say outside a university, for example, right?
Absolutely,
There'll be
yeah,
a
that's the
vendor.
main
So
thing.
if I'm a student, I'm hungry, I need a snack.
And you want a quick
quick
food.
a quick snack,
quick
right?
snack,
And they're
right.
going out there and
Yeah.
go ahead and actually end up ordering from the vendor.
Yes.
Right? No, when growing up in Mindanao, did you have experience buying food at the street?
Yes, I think every child has experienced that in the Philippines. You're hungry,
Yeah.
you look for something
Yeah.
that would satisfy your hunger. Not
Okay.
only that, you want something good that would really, you can partake with your family, with your friends.
Yeah. No, I remember growing up in the Philippines. When we have a snack, I went to a school and we would go outside.
Right.
And I know you brought one called the fish ball. Actually,
Yes.
this one. So
That
we're gonna go
is-
ahead and start talking about what the ingredients are on the street food. So why don't we focus on that? So let's show this. What this is the fish ball, correct?
Yes, that's a fish ball. It's made of shrimp. No, it's not shrimp. Fish paste,
Yeah.
and with cornstarch,
Okay.
and it's deep fried.
Okay. Looking at the plate, this is pretty easy. This is a hot dog. It looks like a
Yes.
Filipino-based hot dog with different ingredients. This is the pancit
This is a
canton.
pancit canton, and a combination of bihon also. The
Right. So I told in the last segment that if you ever work with a Filipino and you're a non-Filipino, basically the pancit is something that you can bring that everybody can enjoy and they remember you for it. So,
Yes.
And then what else do we have here? The skewers that we
The
have.
skewers, the
Is that-
pork barbecue.
Okay.
There's a chicken barbecue.
Right.
The gizzard is a popular one also.
Which one is the gizzard here?
The gizzard is right here.
Okay, so we're gonna try that later. I know that. And what are those?
These are the isaws.
Okay.
Made of pork and beef or veal. Isaw, the skinny one.
Okay. And what about this? This is that just pork?
This is actually the pork isaw.
Okay.
It's the most popular among all the street foods.
Okay,
right
so let's talk about what it is, a pork isaw.
If you're non-Filipino, I would say it's pork intestine. A lot of non-Filipinos will be shocked to hear that.
Okay.
But in this day and age, a lot of millennials are more adventurous when it comes to food.
Non-Filipinos?
Correct.
Okay.
There's social media. They see it, on Instagram, Facebook, Google.
Yeah.
So they want to try something different. And surprisingly, when I introduce this to them,
Yeah.
they end up loving it. And they come back for it, believe it or not.
Wow. So they come in there just kind of curious about it,
Yes.
but then what happens? What happens after they try it? They end up liking it.
After they tried, the most common feedbacks that I get are, "Oh, what is this? I love the consistency of the meat.
Yeah.
I love the taste. I could tell the marination is really good. And what is this distinct taste of like a sour taste?" So I kind of explain to them this is basically a Filipino citrus, the calamansi.
Okay.
Which they don't have an idea what it is. We don't
How long?
have
How long
calamansi
do you
here.
marinate something like that for?
24 to 48 hours for...
And it just soaks in the flavor.
Yes, for all the flavors to soak in. And of course, not just calamansi, there's a lot more we put in it.
What about this one?
This
like an egg.
is actually the name is very interesting. This and the small one, we call this one top nanning. And the kwek kwek, we get a kick out of this,
Okay, so I didn't actually have that video. So this one is what we're talking about now. So this is an egg, and the small ones are eggs. And what are they called?
The first one, the small one, we call it kwek kwek. A lot of Filipinos actually find it funny when they see the
Kwek
name
kwek.
and the menu. They say,
Yeah.
"What is a kwek kwek?" It sounds so funny.
Yeah. So
This-
what do you call it though in your store?
Kwek kwek. We
Kwek
name
kwek.
it,
All right.
whatever we call it is kwek kwek. We
Okay.
spell it the way it is spelled.
Okay, got it. What about the big egg?
The tok nanning is just a bigger version of the kwek kwek, which is a chicken egg. So both are actually hard-boiled eggs that are coated with an orange batter,
Yep.
and they are deep fried to, crisp until they're crispy.
Yeah.
We call it
Yeah.
until they're brown perfection.
What about this? What about this one right here on the plate?
Yeah, this is one of our top sellers in the menu. This is called the bangus sisig. The original sisig is normally pork.
Okay.
Back in Pampanga, that's a delicacy. But we want to put a little twist to it because a lot of people these days they like fish.
Yeah.
So we thought of having like fish made into a sisig version.
Got it.
And
So it's fish. It's milk.
It's actually milk fish, is we call it in the Philippines.
Got it.
Bangus.
Okay,
Right.
bangus. And then the last item on the corner there.
This is the tokwat baboy.
Okay.
It's basically tokwa is tofu.
Yep.
Baboy basically it's boiled pork.
Okay.
And the secret to it is definitely there's a lot of clemency taste to it, soy sauce and
Right.
oyster
So it
sauce.
sounds like we use a lot of sour.
Correct. A little
marinade.
sour, a little sweet. It's a
Right.
combination of the taste.
Yeah.
Right.
At that conference, I asked this question: the Filipino food movement.
Right.
What can we do to continue to help promote it? Obviously, the restaurant week is a big
Right.
step into making a noise about that we're
Exactly.
here. And the answer that I got is, somebody said that they've been hearing about the Filipino food movement since 2014. And they said, maybe it's time for us to actually accept the fact that the Filipino food movement is here.
Right.
And it's just like people like you who serves the street food, offering it to the mainstream and being accepted is the key to just continuing to grow.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, I'm very grateful to ISFA for bringing this into fruition, introducing our Filipino foods to not just to the younger Filipinos,
Yeah.
but we transcend beyond the Filipinos. A lot of non-Filipinos are very welcoming of our food. Like I said, in the restaurant, we do have a lot of non-Filipinos that are willing to try. And having this Filipino Restaurant Week for the first time have given us opportunity to really introduce what we serve in the restaurants. And, we've been really happy about the feedback so far, and I thank ISFA for being an instrument to this.
Yeah, thank you for
It's been a good
participating.
run. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for inviting us. That was one of the best decisions we ever made. Running a restaurant.
Wow.
Yes.
So the vision of ISFA is to bring the Filipino food movement forward, and as you can see, we have someone like him that's so appreciative of the effort, and we just continue to see this grow. So
Yes.
thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much, JP,
Yeah,
for having
absolutely.
us.
Have a great day, and
you.
so my name is John Paul Ferrer. We're going to wrap it up. Until next time.